so far.
Maybe I'll go with
See glasses.
the whole way.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. I am here with Kyle Cronk, the president and CEO of South Sound YMCA, and Anthony Brock. He is the principal of Thurgood Marshall Middle School.
Correct.
Awesome. Got
Gold
it.
Mustangs.
That's right.
Oh, Mustangs. Okay, not a bad mascot right there. We're going to talk about the South Sound YMCA and its pretty incredible contribution to the community here in the Olympia-Thurston County area. First of all, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Sure thing. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
So good. Especially on a snow day.
I know. Well, that's the thing. People are not going to believe this. We actually accomplished this on a snow day with a school principal.
Right. After he starts his day with lunch,
Yeah.
which is perfect.
Pretty solid work for a February.
Not bad.
Day after Valentine's Day.
I know.
no
It's
less.
unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So, let's start with the why you guys really like the YMCA. So a lot of folks know the YMCA. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the different programs you guys do and some of the things you provide. But what's your favorite thing about the YMCA? Let's start with Kyle. What's your favorite thing?
Easily, hands down, my favorite thing is the people. I mean, the YMCA really is a vehicle to bring people together. I started working for the YMCA as a volunteer when I was 15 in high school. In my sophomore year of high school, I told someone I wanted to be a teacher, and they said, you should figure out if you like kids. I thought that was good advice.
Yeah.
And so he sent me to this camp, Camp Rakyla, up in the San Juan Islands. And so I spent my whole, high school career, college career working with kids in the San Juan Islands. And it was magic. I mean, you would bring these kids that didn't know each other from all over the Pacific Northwest, really, and even from other states because the camp was really well known. And you'd have these kids for 11, 12 days, and they wouldn't know each other. And by the time that they left, I mean, they were just like connected and loving each other. And I mean, it was incredible relationships. So
Yeah.
it really is about people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, for me, so much of it is kind of growing up a little bit in the Y. But when I think about like kind of the purest moments of childhood, it was my dad being my baseball coach and helping out with basketball. And I was like, all right, that's cool. That's kind of what I thought the Y was about youth sports and athletics and this special time that I had with my father. And then it transfers and, you have kids later on and you're like, oh, I'm coaching Y basketball for my kid. And so there's a little bit of like a legacy there.
Really cool full circle.
But then ultimately, as an educator, the work that we've been able to do when I was a middle school teacher in Tacoma, we did like youth and government, and we've done some of that work at Thurgood Marshall as well, which is a program through the YMCA that just keeps coming back around. And then it's interesting, Camp Rakyla is something you mentioned as kind of your first entry into the Y, and we were just talking last night at one of our meetings about 25 eighth graders that have the opportunity to go there
Cool.
from middle school.
Nice.
And
That's
so it's
fantastic.
like the Y finds a different way to come back to you.
Yeah, that's really
totally.
neat. And I will say this: I grew up in Lakewood, north of here, and one of the things the Y always felt a lot like the Boys and Girls Club felt like. It was a place where kids who didn't have outlets anywhere else could go and actually feel safe and protected. And I always liked that about the YMCA
100%.
too.
Yeah, no one's ever turned away, whether you're an adult or a kid. Like, if you can't afford it, we find scholarships. Right now, we're in the middle of our fundraising campaign that happens every year. We'll raise, $450,000 to almost $500,000. We give away almost $1 million. So $820,000 was given away in 2023. And that's to make sure that no one's turned away.
Yeah, that's really one of the best parts of the accessibility of it.
Sure.
Anthony, you hit on it. One of the things that YMCA is, of course, known for is its organized sports. But Kyle, it goes beyond that. Can you talk about some of the other stuff that it offers?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it was about the song. I thought, no, it's nothing to do with the song. I didn't know where you were going with that question. Yeah, we do a whole bunch of stuff. So, I mean, everything from youth-related stuff, like, swim lessons, and everything from STEM, like there's robotics, there's Minecraft. I mean, there's a whole bunch of youth-focused stuff. I mean, of course, we do pickleball. Pickleball is one of the fastest-growing sports on the planet. So we do a lot of pickleball, a lot of adult programming. And I don't know if you knew this, but the Surgeon General just recently said that the next, biggest healthcare crisis is about isolation.
Oh,
and
wow.
people who are lonely.
Wow.
Yeah, huge deal. And so when you think about seniors or older adults, they need a place to go as well.
Yeah.
If you go to the Briggs Y, like in the morning, you'll see just a whole bunch of older adults not only going to classes like water aerobics and water exercise, but it's really about again, I go back to the people. It's really about who they're connecting with, who they see.
Yep.
They know their friends are going to be there. When so I've been here now almost 8 years, and when I first got here, there was a member who had a mom, an older member that had a mom that was in her 90s, and she would come to the Briggs Y to have her whatever birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So I started going to these birthdays when she was like 95, 96 years old in the Briggs Y at 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
She turned 101, and she's still there.
That is
Still
so awesome.
coming to the Briggs Y. I mean, it's
awesome.
incredible. And so you see that, back to that full circle idea, it really is the vehicle to bring people together.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter what the program is. The idea is that you're getting people together and make relationships and build connections. And then there is that achievement thing too, which is really interesting. So when you think about, what happens when a kid is in youth sports, it's oftentimes somebody's first time doing something.
Right.
Making a left-handed layup, dribbling the ball,
Yeah.
putting your face in the water, blowing bubbles as a
Yeah.
baby. Like
Yeah.
that. Do you know how big of a deal that is when mom and dad and the instructor are like cheering and the baby's
Right.
like, what did I do?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
that
that's
is
fantastic.
cool. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Anthony, what do you think makes the YMCA so unique to this particular community?
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think, opportunities for growth. It continues to grow for the South Sound Y, and that's something I'm excited about. I would say, as a school principal, the world that we're living in with budgets and enrollment and these kind of things, specifically to Olympia, we're going to need a partnership in ways that we've never done before, and explore opportunities and expand upon those. And so I think about that opportunity for the Y to be more connected with youth is super important. We talk so much that, strong kids, strong students build strong communities. And so when I think about just my personal journey in the Y, I know that if we can get kids connected to that, it's not just about as their 7th grader, as an 8th grader, but it's this lifetime of health. We want them to be celebrating 100 birthdays. That's really remarkable. But also saying that we were there in a time when our community needed us, and it's that we all come together for it.
Yeah, that is really true. And it is kind of one of those things with the YMCA, everyone of every age group has an experience with the YMCA.
Totally.
I mean, everybody does.
Yeah, it's funny. I go to, I talk a lot in the community, and I'll say, does anyone? Everybody has a YMCA story, and it's the intersection point for how you enter the Y is different. I mean, sometimes it's swim lessons, sometimes it's sports, sometimes it's camp, sometimes it's pickleball. I mean, it just is totally random.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so cool. Everybody gets to have an experience that way. I got to imagine if we rewound like for the last 2 or 3 years, I can't imagine sort of how you guys navigated through COVID with everything that had to happen and the fact that things were so limited. But last year we actually had an opportunity as an organization to come out of that. Can you talk a little bit about some of the exciting things that happened as sort of everything reopened and everyone was getting to come back? Were there some things that you in particular found exciting or fun to share?
Well, you nailed it in the 2020, 21, 22 was just brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, so again, if you go back to what I was saying is that the Y is a vehicle to bring people together, and you're in a global pandemic where bringing people together is a problem.
Right.
That. So we lost about half of our revenue in about 70 hours.
And how many hours?
70 hours.
Oh my goodness.
We went from just over $12 million to 6.
You got to be kidding me.
No. Wow. And so navigating that, so one thing that we didn't share is Anthony is our trustee chair. So Anthony's been a volunteer for a long time now. He's the chair of the board. And going through that process of not knowing how long the pandemic was going to be and what we were going to do. So probably the silver lining of the pandemic story is there's 2 of them. One is that we never stopped providing services to kids.
That's cool.
We said that, it doesn't matter who determines you to be essential. Childcare is vital. And so we're going to keep doing that. So we gave, we were serving about 1,000 families a day on March 16th.
Yeah.
And on March 17th, we went to 0.
Yeah.
And then, so we spent like, I don't know, 24 hours trying to figure out how we would provide free services to everybody. And so we did that, and then we were up and running again on the 18th or 19th. So we did that. That's one thing that we did. The other thing that we did is that we had just finalized our capital campaign in Shelton. And we broke ground on the Shelton Y January 4th of 2020.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so now we're building this Y, and then they decide, you can't do construction, so they're going to shut that down.
Yeah.
So we appealed to the state because we were very fortunate. We had a lot of, there's a great program from the state of Washington that provides support to nonprofits to build facilities, so us, Boys and Girls Club, anyone else. So we had a significant portion of Washington state money flowing into this program. So we appealed to the state and said, no, we're essential project that needs to be funded because you have funds rolling into this. And they said, you're right. So the silver lining was that where we built the Shelton Y is on the Oakland Bay Junior High and Shelton High School campus, essentially. Yeah. So we didn't make a bunch of enemies of parents of school people, with construction. So we got it done and opened in March of 2021. I would not advise anybody to open in the global pandemic. Yeah, no, not a good thing.
That's not good advice.
But that's the thing that kind of sticks out for me is the Shelton Y.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a rocky kind of start of this whole pandemic and all these kind of things. And then I remember celebrating the 1-year birthday of kind of the Shelton YMCA. Yeah. And we had gotten there a little early, and it was like, all right, people are kind of getting back into the vibe of coming to the Y and kind of getting it started in the community. But when that bell rang and all the students showed up, it went from like 2 people working out to all these students were in there hanging out, congregating, see textbooks open up on these tables and there's just common spaces. And it was like, oh, this is the community. We just had to wait until the moment for them to show up.
Yeah, and we learned that because we're on that campus and location, and we're in a realtor's office, location is a big deal. Right. So you can't get away from the fact that we've got this triangle of love of Oakland Bay Junior High, Shelton High School, and the YMCA, who's just saying we're going to do everything for kids. We learned right away that we did not put enough outlets in to charge the phones.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a lesson learned for the next time that we do this.
Next time you're building 2 times the outlets.
Exactly, at least.
So as we look forward, final question for the both of you on this one. Obviously, the YMCA is always, that's one thing that is also really cool about the YMCA. You're always trying to think of new things to introduce. You're always trying to stay ahead of the curve or appeal to young people. What are some kind of things that people can look forward to in this year and into the future?
You want to start?
Yeah, I'll let you speak more specifically to some things, but to me, I think as we move forward, it's going to be the partnerships that make our community thrive. And so it's partnering with schools, partnering with other community organizations, partnering with cities and our counties to build projects and to have things that are going to be for the common good. And that to me is going to be hopefully the secret moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's no doubt. Anthony nailed it. So I have this one presentation that talks about, what equals a thriving community, and it starts with collaboration. And then it goes into belonging, achievement, relationships, and that's how communities thrive. But it starts with collaboration. And the Shelton Y is another great example of how, you would never build a YMCA in Shelton because technically the amount of people, the density isn't big enough to support something like that. So we needed partners like the city. We needed the Mason General Health to come in. We needed Pack Mountain Workforce Development to come in. We needed Peninsula Credit Union to come in. So you would not know, if you were in the Shelton Y, you would not know somebody that's rehabbing a hip versus just your everyday member or somebody that's looking at financial fitness.
Yeah.
You just don't know. And so we're trying to create those community hubs. And so Anthony's right. We have, I think, 6 different projects on the books. They're all in, various stages of development. And every single one of them is a collaboration with some other entity or multiple entities. Always, we're looking for healthcare partners. Mm-hmm. So Multicare in Providence, if you're listening, reach out anytime.
There you go.
That's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't even know how many partnerships in the country with YMCAs there are in municipalities, but that's, thousands
Yeah,
of ways
absolutely.
that municipalities, cities, and counties can come together to help, make that lift happen. We've got some really exciting projects in Lacey. We got 2 in Tumwater. We're working with the city of Yelm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, and we have a contract offer on a what I would consider a regional day camp at Long Lake in Lacey.
Excellent.
So there's just a ton of opportunities. I just learned on Friday that there's 17 Ys in the state of Washington. We were the fastest growing Y since 2018.
Wow.
And that includes the 2 years of COVID,
Yeah.
where we lost 50% of our stuff.
Yeah. Wow. That is really impressive. I will say, I think you guys both hit the nail on the head. For me personally, as a kid who played basketball at the Y and baseball at the Y, and now as a dad who coaches his kids.
Thank you for volunteering. Good job.
Oh, I love it unless they don't listen to me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Coaching's tough.
Yeah, but you do notice, number one, the timelessness of the YMCA, how it has always filled a need in the community. And then the other thing is, I think, Anthony, your point is really interesting because as schools struggle to find funding and keep programs open, which sadly looks like it's going to be the near future for a while. YMCA is huge for that, because you get to collaborate and partner with them.
For sure.
Yeah, which is really cool.
No doubt.
It's so cool. So, folks, I would encourage you, if you haven't gone down to the YMCA or been a part of the YMCA, make sure you do.
Yeah, please. Join. You can volunteer. You can donate. There's so many ways that you can engage with your local Y, and it really strengthens the community. So even if you became a member and never came, that's supporting your community. So think about the belongingness of what it feels like to be a part of your community.
Yeah. And also, once you're done playing at Briggs, you can go to Humble Cow and have some ice cream.
Absolutely, for sure.
So thank you, Kyle and Anthony. Thank you guys so much for coming on and spreading the good news about a really cool organization in this community. We really
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.